Hello again everyone, Billy No Mates again today. Today's a very special day. I'm starting the North Downs Way. So I'm currently at Guildford train station. It was an absolute ball ache trying to find a car park with car park machines that worked. Finally found somewhere, £1 for the day, free parking tomorrow, and I'm just sat on the train waiting to head to Farnham, where the North Downs Way actually starts. So it starts in Farnham, Surrey, goes across Surrey, through Kent and down to Dover. When you get to Bolton Lees in Kent, the way splits. You can do the north route through Canterbury down to Dover, or you can do the south route, which is like the mainline route through Wye, Etching Hill, Folkestone to Dover, which is the one I'm going to be doing. So this video is just going to be Farnham to Guildford. That's 11 miles, and I'm following the official guidebook from National Trail. So this is section 1, Farnham to Guildford. So it's 11 miles. We're coming up to midday now because of the parking issues. So by the time we actually get to Farnham, it's probably going to be a bit later than planned, but that can't be helped anyway. So I've got my Wild Country Helm 1 tent with me tonight, because I'm going to try and plan to do a little wild camp in the woods, sort of just outside of Guildford, kind of when I eventually get back to here. So the route should be fairly easy to follow. It's a well waymarked route. So just waiting for the train to leave. I'll bring you back when we're at the start of the North Downs Way. It's going to be good this, I'm looking forward to it. Chat to you soon everyone. Farnham is a pleasant and ancient town that is worth a look around if you have time to spare. It is now predominantly a commuter town for London, but it was once an important market town. There are a large number of alleyways that lead off the main streets, reminders of dozens of inns that once served the coaching trade in the 18th and 19th centuries. Hops were once a major crop in the area, and at one time the town had 5 breweries. By the late 20th century this had fallen to 0, but following the recent revival of real ale, 4 small independent breweries have been established in and around the town. Farnham Castle dates from around the mid-12th century and later became a residence of the Bishops of Winchester. It is now a conference centre and is open to the public. This is a comparatively gentle introduction to the North Downs Way. The chalk ridge to the north that is the Hog's Back, the true North Downs hereabouts, is unsuitable for walking, so this section goes through rolling farmland and heathland on sandy soil. You will sometimes be walking on pure yellow sand, while layers of the crumbly orange and yellow rock can be seen on either side in places where the path has been worn into it over the centuries. Well, as you can see, I'm at the start of the North Downs Way here in Farnham. Dover is that way. So off we go. Enough talking, let's get walking. You know what they say, journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. There we go. So not the nicest of places to start a long distance route, but we've left the main road now. It's very busy. I could feel people looking at me from the cars while they were waiting in the traffic going, he's starting the North Downs Way. The train conductor at the station wished me luck, and thought I was mad for wanting to camp in this weather. Used to it. So I've got the A to Z map of the entire North Downs Way. It's like a book form, really useful. Got the guidebook as well. This is going to be fun. I've been planning this one for few months now, I'd say. So to finally be starting it is pretty special indeed. So it's early January and I'm going to be doing it section by section. Can't remember how many sections there are in the guidebook, but each video is going to be a section. Some of them I'm going to be able to wild camp on, some of them I might not be able to, so we'll just sort of have to see how it goes. But the main thing is the walking, so if I can't camp I'm not fussed. I know one section in Kent there is a campsite, so I may well try that, but that's not going to be for quite a few months yet. So aiming to get this done at least by the end of 2020, so I've got a year to do all of this in, so it's exciting times. Right, anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's just get this first bit done. 11 miles today, well maybe tomorrow as well if I'm camping, we'll see. Right, so far it's well signposted and I've followed it on Google Earth. You can actually follow the entire North Downs Way via Google Earth if you want. Someone has like photographed and mapped the whole thing, which is brilliant. And Google Earth is a really useful tool for planning walks and especially wild camps. You can see sort of good potential spots to wild camp on, so if you're sort of getting into this sort of thing, I highly recommend using Google Earth and Google Maps. It's really good. The River Wey has two sources, one the North Branch near Alton in Hampshire, the other the South Branch near Blackdown in West Sussex. We are beside the North Branch. The two branches join at Tilford, 5 miles southeast of Farnham, then the river flows on through Godalming and Guildford to join the Thames at Weybridge. The lower reaches have been canalised, as the Godalming navigation from Godalming to Guildford and as the Wey navigation from Guildford to Weybridge. Thought I'd quickly point out that as I've got quite a lot of walking to do today and maybe in the future videos, I don't know how good the quality of the video is going to be in terms of cinematography, shall we say. Fancy little walking shots and stuff like that, they're quite time consuming and tiring when you're doing a lot of long distance walking, so there might not be too much of that, so I apologise in advance. I'll do the best I can of course for you, but it might be a little bit of a basic video, sort of below par. We'll see how it goes, eh? It's just nice to be out, to be honest, to finally be doing a long distance route that I've planned for so long. And not all of it is going to be solo trips. Some of them could be with Candy, some of them could be with Mark, who knows, anyone at the moment. So it's gone 12:30, so I've got about 3-4 hours of daylight left. I hope to have done the majority of this section by then, and I've earmarked a couple of spots on the map that could be good for a little woodland camp. Weather permitting, on future sections of this I will take the tarpon bivvy or hoot bivvy, whatever, so it's not always going to be tents. It just depends on what the weather forecast decides to throw at us. The North Downs Way seat is one of two, the other is near Dover, commissioned from local artists by the then Countryside Agency to mark the start and finish of the route, or as near as was practical. Carved into its backrest is an impression of a bee orchid, while an inscription around the seat's rim tells you that there are 153 miles to Dover. However, if you read the introduction in the guidebook, you will realise that this is misleading. It is actually about 125 miles, taking the shorter main line, or 131 miles by taking the Canterbury loop. The section starts in the market town of Farnham and finishes on the outskirts of the cathedral and university city of Guildford. The route passes through or skirts the villages of Runfold, the Sands, Seal and Puttenham, but the highlight must be the Watts Gallery and its tea shop right next to the trail towards the end. Runfold Wood Nature Reserve is an area of predominantly broad-leaved woodland managed by the Surrey Wildlife Trust. Its resident fauna include roe deer, dormice, great spotted woodpeckers, black caps, nuthatches and stag beetles. The removal of rhododendron and cherry laurel has allowed a wider range of flora to flourish, including bluebells in spring. The Hampton Estate comprises a vast area of 2,250 acres based around Hampton Lodge and its lakes to the southeast. It is privately owned with activities divided between agriculture and forestry, but much of the woodland areas, including Binton Wood to the south, are open for pedestrian access. The Hogsback is a narrow ridge that forms the westernmost part of the North Downs, cut off from the rest of the Wey Valley. Once known as Gildown, it is 7.5 miles long and reaches 499 feet above sea level at its highest point. It would have made a fine walking route were it not for the A31 dual carriageway from Guildford to Dorset, which hogs most of the ridge. Okay, it's gone 3 PM and I stopped for a little quick break back there, like a 10-minute break. Had this it was like a granola with goji berries and blueberries, sort of dehydrated thing, and called Joy Bol or something. I picked them up in Tesco's, and it takes the smallest amount of water to rehydrate it, and it's got about 11 grams of protein in it. And it was so nice, it was so needed, because there was a steep, prolonged climb and just did me in. So stopped and had that, and then a little mini pack of Maryland cookies, which Mark, First Class Adventures, very kindly bought me a few bags of, along with some hot drinks for Christmas, to be shared between myself and Candy. So cheers, mate. I will point out I've forgotten the microphone again, I apologise, so any wind noise on this video before, now or after, soz. Tell you what though, I've been impressed with the way markings on this route so far. There's North Downs Way signs everywhere, it's brilliant, so well done National Trail. Puttenham is a rather quiet village that achieved some notoriety when it featured in Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, published in 1932, which is set in a future society where humanity reproduces itself by technological means and is educated by sleep teaching. St John the Baptist Church dates from late Saxon times, but most of it was added in stages, the last being the 15th century tower. The 13th century Lady Chapel was destroyed by fire in the 18th century and was not restored until Victorian times. Right, good news. I've just seen a sign that says Guildford 4 miles, so that's not too bad at all. It's about 3:30 now, leaving Puttenham. There was a camping barn, it said, and I was half tempted to say, well, as long as they accept cards, because I ain't got any cash on me, I could try and stop there for the night. And I thought, no, let's push on. I'm glad I did, because 4 miles ain't that bad. Now let's see where we can find to wild camp. The Watts Gallery celebrates the work of the English artist George Frederick Watts, 1817 to 1904. He was one of the foremost portrait painters of his day, and many of his works are on display at the National and Tate Galleries. He lived in a house nearby, and towards the end of his life decided that paintings that remained in his possession should be put on displays to the public. Thus came into being the Watts Gallery, designed by his friend Christopher Turner, which opened in 1903, just a year before Watts died. I've just stopped for some trail mix, homemade, at the Watts Gallery Artists Village. Fuck it. I'm stopping for 5 at the moment because I am shattered. It's gone 4 PM now, guys, and the light's really fading fast, so I'm going to put the camera away. I'm not going to film any more now until I've either stopped and found somewhere to camp for the night, or until I'm back at Guildford train station, just because wind's picking up, not got the microphone with me, and all the footage is going to be really grainy anyway, so yeah, best sort of leave it there for the filming for the time being, and then I'll let you know kind of what I'm going to be doing, because I don't know myself yet. So I would like to camp, but if I can't find somewhere to camp, it's no biggie. I'm not too bothered. I've done the first section of the North Downs Way today. I'm pleased with that, so we'll just have to see really what happens. So yeah, apologies, I'll chat to you in a little bit. Wish me luck. It's about 5:15, and yep, you guessed it, I'm going to try and wild camp. I found a small section of woodland that the footpath, the North Downs Way, goes right through, that didn't have barbed wire fencing round it or private property signs. I mean, of course, even though I know I'm not really meant to be here, I've come right off the path. The path's that way, by the way, and I've walked as far away from it as I can to almost like the other side of this woodland, and I think the edge is sort of just out through there, so I'm going to sort of keep a low profile. Got the Helm one set up pretty quick, just cleared the leaves away, and just, you know, guide it out, and got the footprint down. Boom, Bob's your uncle. I think it's actually on a nice flat spot for once, which is good. I'm gonna keep the lights down low, so probably the majority of the filming I'm gonna do, of course, is going to require the filming light and stuff, so I'm going to try and film as much in the tent as I can. I'm behind plenty of bushes and stuff like that, but you just never know, do you? So I'm going to aim to sort of get out of here relatively early. I know I usually end up leaving at like 10 AM and stuff, but I need to be out earlier than that. It's got to be really stealthy, so I've got to be out early. I I can't be hanging around here too long. So yeah, I'll be setting some alarms and getting up early, probably while it's still kind of dark, and then hopefully be walking sort of as it's getting light. I'll show you inside. Got a new little cheap kneeling mat, Summit. That's from the range. I think it cost me a couple of quid. Didn't really need it, but I just thought why not. And then I've got inside, this is new. Mary from Bad Hair Adventures recommended this to me, as did Andy from Andy's East Coast Adventures recommended it. It's a Highlander folding chair. It's got like a mesh panel pocket at the back, and then you fold that out and you can sit upright in your tent, on the floor, anywhere. And I've been trying it out and it's really comfy and it holds my weight, and it's definitely lighter and more packable than my OEX fold up chair. That is comfy, but so's this really, so quite useful. And then it's all laying on a brand new silver coated foam mat that folds up accordion style. Now this isn't a Thermarest Z-Lite, it's like a cheap Chinese knockoff copy that cost me about 15 quid, and it arrived really quick, and to be fair it's exactly the same quality but for like half the price, so really good. I'm testing that out tonight. I have got my OEX Fulcrum yellow inflatable mat. I'm not going to inflate it yet because I'll just do that for when I go to sleep. I'll sort of save the space and sit in here like this for now. I have got a Climate, I don't know what it is, like a winter sleeping mat, inflatable mat, on its way. That should be here on the 14th of January, so about a week's time, less than that in fact. So I just got to put up with the Fulcrum for a little bit longer because it deflates a bit, it's got cold spots, the R value's crap on it. This Climate one's like 4.4, and once again that was James, Mary, I think Andy, loads of people recommended it to me, and I pulled the trigger on it. It was about 50 something quid, and it looks pretty good, so that'll be arriving, but for now we're making do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this is like. Got all my sleeping stuff up the end there, the usual stuff. My rucksack's in the back vestibule. I found a little cheap lantern when I was clearing a cupboard out, and I thought I'd use that. Just runs off of 3 AAA batteries. I've got the OEX Bush Pro bivvy again. Don't know why. I was, as I say, going to use tarp and bivvy. I might just throw it over the sleeping bag if it does get particularly cold, but I'll probably be alright. I thought it's also a good emergency in case something on the tent broke or I couldn't find anywhere suitable to pitch a tent. I thought I'd rough it and cowboy camp in a bivvy bag for the night. I've been using these 1.25 litre plastic Coke bottles, and I know you can't use them for too long because of course they're not going to be BPA free, and you know they collect mould like anything, but you can carry a bit more water that way. 2 of those gives you 2.5 litres, and then coupled with, if I can find it, where is it? It's behind me. Coupled with a smart water bottle, this one being 850 ml. I've been drinking from that all day today, and I've got that little bit left. So that's a decent amount of water that I've got there. So I'm quite pleased with that really. What else have we got? Food's over the back there. Ciders tonight. I've walked 11 miles and carried ciders. I know all the things I could have cut out, that probably would have been it, but I've earned that. That's an HCC or Herefordshire Cider Company dark fruit cider, 4%, just a cheap as chips one. I think I had that with Hambo when we did the Hertfordshire camp near the Hillfort in the woods. I think we did anyway, so I'm going to have that first. And then this is something new. I've got 3 bottles of it, not with me. I bought 3 bottles, but I've bought just one out tonight. I'm not that crazy. It's Copperberg spiced apple cider with cinnamon, 4%, and of course I can have that hot or cold, and I'm gonna have it hot. I love mulled cider. I mean, I like most ciders, maybe not the really strong plain ciders or like dry ciders, but fruit ciders and mulled ciders, wow, I just can't get enough of them. There's the map and the guidebook in there. Stoves tonight, I think I've got my BCB gel fuel stove, a gas stove somewhere. I've probably got some Esbit tablets to go in the BCB stove as well. I'm mainly going to try and use that because it's quiet, you know, not that I think anyone will hear the gas stove going from where I am, but you never know, do you? So I'm probably going to use that, really, unless the wind really picks up or it starts raining. I have to cook sort of in the porch of the tent, I'll use that. But if I have to cook inside the tent, I'll use the gas stove, which is just there next to my porridge. So yeah, that's what's happening. I'm going to sit in here for a bit and just chill out. I'm going to take my boots off because my feet are starting to hurt a bit. No blisters yet, but you know, my feet are stinging a little bit, I'm not going to lie. And I'm going to crack that open. I can't wait. I'll probably be asleep by about 9 o'clock tonight, and it's what, probably 5:30 now, so I want to get an early night's sleep so I can get up early anyway. So yeah, it's one of the best ciders I've ever tasted. I am absolutely shattered. I've taken my boots, my socks off, and I'm just airing my feet out, making fists with my toes inside the tent. It feels so nice. Not really cold out at the moment. I mean, it's warmer in here, of course. Got some clean socks to put on, but I'm just going to air my feet for half hour or so. Tastes cheap and sweet, which is what I like. 4%. Oh, lovely. Anyways, I'm just going to chill out for half hour before I think about doing any food or anything. I've got my chair in here as well, so I can actually sort of lean back, no backache, and kind of sit upright in the tent. It's brilliant. This is living. I just got this dangling in my face, but oh well, it's alright. It's actually throwing out quite a bit of light. It's like a kind of pale blue light, and it probably cost me less than a tenner. I don't know where I got it from, but you can have it as like a lantern like this, or you can screw it up and it turns into like a little torch, but it works better as a lantern, I think. And it's got a little lanyard for hanging on, so yeah, it's pretty good really, and it's not that heavy really. It's actually quite light. Yeah, might start using it more often actually, instead of that big Aldi one that I've got. That's quite bulky, but it does throw out a decent amount of light and it lasts quite a while. So anyway, what more can you say about lanterns, eh? Not a lot. Alright, cheers everyone. So on the menu tonight is just a little tea I've got in there. I'm just boiling up water now for that. Before I go to sleep, I'm going to have a Horlicks hot chocolate. That's just a wet wipe. And then there's this, see if it will pick it up, there we go. A chicken and vegetable curry with rice. This is left over from, I think, that one of those Hindu, I think, United Nations ration packs. And I've got a Wayfarer chocolate pudding, can't wait for that. I've had some fruit biscuits and strawberry jam. So far they were from a British Army ration pack, and that'll about do me really. Then the rest of me stuff is, angle the camera up. Just in that little bag in the pocket there, I've got porridge, protein bars, hot chocolates, coffees, trail mix, some super noodles, just a couple of little bits really, and the extra side is just tucked down there. So I'm still drinking the dark fruits, so I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. I sort of drunk that and then sort of had a lay down in the tent and fell asleep for about half hour. I must have needed it, and woke up at about 6:10, so it's probably getting on to nearer 7 o'clock now, I reckon. So time for a hot tea, bit of food. Right, it's 9:15 now, and I've been just sort of sat in the tent for quite a while. I've chatted to Candice, I've been watching a bit of YouTube because the signal's quite good here. I've had that chicken curry with was it rice? It was more like lots of chickpeas and vegetables in it as well. I'm about to have me Wayfarer chocolate pudding. I'm looking forward to that. The tea was good. I've got me Horlicks hot chocolate as well already. But the next thing I'm going to use on the stove, which I've run out of the gel fuel. I've got more at home, but run out of the bottle I had. I've been using some solid fuel tablets, like those waterlogged ones, just using the last of those up. So I've not had to use the gas yet. So the next thing I'm going to use on the stove is, we're going to do some of this, well, not some of it, we're going to do all of it. We're going to do this Copperberg spiced apple cider with cinnamon. So it's 4%. You can have it hot or cold. I'm going to try a bit cold and then do the rest warm. Copperberg was established in 1882, in case you didn't know. So this one's 4%, and I'll read you the little blurb out. Blending our original apple cider with the taste of the traditional winter spice of cinnamon, Copperberg spiced apple has a warm, agreeably sweet, woody aroma that is both delicate and intense. Enjoy over ice or served hot to warm up even the coldest of nights. Hot serve instructions. Gently turn the bottle upside down and back before opening to ensure the taste of cinnamon moves fully through the cider. Carefully pour the cider into a pan and gently heat until warm. Do not boil. Serve in a glass with a handle or cup and sit back and enjoy our very special cider. Scowl, or cheers. So, we better do what it says. That's probably enough, I reckon. Yeah. Okay. I'm looking forward to this one. Like I say, I've got 2 more bottles of it at home. Here we go. Cheers, everyone. It smells nice. It does smell like most mulled ciders, to be fair. It's not bad cold. I would happily drink that cold, but stuff like this, spiced apple ciders are just best warmed up. So I mean, straight away I'd give it a 9. Just cold alone, it's nice. I'm not usually a massive fan of Copperberg ciders. They're all right. Usually a bit too sickly and sweet, but this one they've got right. So let's pour it in the pan and get it on the stove. We'll see what it's saying. I think that's all of it. Have a little bit more. That is lovely. There we go, that's all of it in there. Right, let's get this on the stove. Of course, always count yourself lucky. you know, like I say, there's still people out there that haven't got a home, that haven't got half of this luxury gear, that are having to sleep outside tonight in the cold. So spare them a thought and look after them. They are homeless, so we've got to look after them, irrespective of what they've done, what led them to being homeless. Don't care about the drugs, the drink, if that's what they're doing. Doesn't matter really. At the end of the day, you shouldn't judge that drug addict, because one day they could reform and they could end up saving your child's life and stopping them from going down that route. So you've always got to spare, you've always got to spare them a thought in that sense. And like I say, if you've got old camping equipment or just old clothes, warm clothes that you don't need anymore, take them down to your local homeless shelter, or look for charities that are taking stuff like that in. There's loads of them about. There's one in Chelmsford near me called Sanctus. My mum really wants to go and do some volunteer work. She's already donated some stuff actually, and I've put together some more stuff when I was clearing out the aforementioned cupboard, and found loads of stuff that we're going to give to them, and we'll see how it goes really. So yeah, if you've got anything, even food, they're taking in like canned food and stuff like that, because this place at Sanctus, they have like a cafe for homeless people to go to as well, and it's somewhere for them to go to, get hot meals, and maybe get some some extra clothes or extra warm sleeping gear and stuff, somewhere they can just hang out and stuff and feel respected and not judged. That's a really, really good cause. So check them out, Sanctus. They're based in Chelmsford. But there's probably loads of charities all over the country, in like major cities and stuff, that are doing stuff like that. So yeah, really want to help them out. I've also had this idea of maybe buying a few of those silver coated foam roll mats that you get in Decathlon, like the one I've been using for a while. They're about £4.50. The thicker ones are maybe £5.50, something like that. It's not a lot of money. You could buy 4 of them, best part of 20 quid, and take them down there. I know it's only 4, but that's four extra people that you've helped keep warm. Lay that down on the floor and put your sleeping bag and stuff on top. You'd be a lot warmer and comfier. Or even if you only buy one and donate it, that's fine. But I'm seriously thinking of doing that, going into Decathlon and buying a few of them and donating them. It's an idea I've had rattling around in my noggin for a while, so I thought, why not? It's something I've actually really been passionate about the last sort of few months really, and I think I've always wanted to do some charity work and help out with something in some ways, and I don't know, with the wild camping and stuff, it just seems to fit right. For some reason it just seems to click. It seems the right thing for me to be doing. So yeah, anyway, see how this cider's going. The moment of truth has arrived. So I've warmed it up, I've not boiled it. Oh wow, got sort of a little sharp taste to it there. It's got quite a sort of a tangy, sharp sort of taste. I'm not getting like a wood taste to it. It's not the sweetest mulled cider I've had. I think it actually tasted better cold, I'm not sure. It's still great though, because just like warm mulled cider is just always a winner for me. So it scores highly straight away, but it's quite a sort of a tough sort of playing field really that it's in. It's in a tough league really. Mulled ciders, like I say, are amazing, and I've had I've had a few now, and you know, there's been some really good ones, so this has got some tough competition is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to give it an 8.75 out of 10. So cold, a 9 out of 10. 8.75. There's not a lot in it, I know, but I mean, I'd still happily drink this again. I'm glad I've still got another 2 bottles of it, but not quite as good as the Elephants on Ice Winter Mulled Cider by Hawks. That's really good. I've had the Aspel Mulled Cider. That's really good, as you'd expect from Aspel. And then there was another one I've had that Aldi did, like a winter spicy cider, and that was pretty good as well. They all kind of taste the same, really, I know, but this is only just slightly falling short, but I'm nitpicking really because they're pretty much even. But yeah, overall, still nice. I'm glad I brought it with me, and I'm glad I got 2 more bottles. So I'm just finishing off the last of me chocolate pudding. These things are good, but as I showed on the New Year's Eve wild camp, you can get those little puddings in the little tubs, really cheap as chips, and they're just as good, really, in some ways better. And you just need a big pot of water to put them in, and then just stick it on your stove and boil the water, and that's it, really. And they're just as good, and they're a lot cheaper. The only thing is, of course, the packaging's a bit bulkier, whereas this pack's a bit flatter. I've been looking at sort of ways that I can get sort of camping foods cheaper, like from shops, and then like sort of decanting them into like plastic bags and stuff. Take like the pots of porridge, I'm thinking get those, you know, just stick them in a bag, and then like I get the little fruit topper sachets of like nuts and berries and stuff, and just pour that in the porridge oats straight away in the bag, mix all that together, and just have that in the rucksack. And then when it comes time to prepare it, just put it in, you know, my cook pot, or boil some water up first rather, and you know, sort of just write down the measurements of what the pots say, and then just pour the bag in the boiled water when it's ready, and done. Saves space, saves money. With sort of dinners and lunches and stuff, I'm looking into that as well. Sort of dehydrated like pasta things that you can buy in shops. But I'm trying to get stuff that's got meat in it and stuff as well, because I want that extra protein. And I keep looking around anyway. I'm sure you're all going to get in the comments and give me loads of great ideas, so cheers. Some of this stuff's really obvious, I know. I'm just really lazy, and I love the novelty of ration packs, and I love Wayfarer meals, so I know this stuff can be done. I've seen it done before. I'm working on it because it will save weight and it will save me money for all this long distance walking that I'm going to be doing this year. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Anyways, right, cider and the pudding's getting cold. It's time to tuck in. Well, it's gone 10 PM now. It's about 10:15, and I'm just winding down now. I've inflated the air mattress. Got that in here. It does take up quite a bit of room. You can't really sit on it and stuff, so it's gonna kind of be like the last thing I set up and the first thing I pack away, if you get what I mean. I think on future camps, even with my new climate mattress, I think that's a good sort of system to start doing. Just finishing off my hot chocolate, and yeah, I'm going to wind down and get some sleep. Aim to sort of be asleep by like 11 really, which is really early for me. I'm a nocturnal creature and not a morning person, but I'm going to have to be tomorrow, so I've set the earliest alarm for 6:30 AM, so it'll still be dark, but I can get up and start packing stuff away, starting with this air mattress, get the sleeping stuff packed away. While I'm doing that, get a brew on, so I can have, I think I've got a gingerbread tea, and do some porridge, get all that sort of stuff done, get all the stuff inside the tent done, then sort of have a quick bit of breakfast and get the tent down. Who knows, maybe be out at the latest 8:30 AM, that would be good. Don't know yet really, we'll sort of see how it goes, what we're filming as well. I have to allow time for that, but cheers for watching this far. You've not got bored of me yet. Night everyone, see you in the morning. Good morning everyone. It's about 7:30. I've been up since 6:30, so my plan has worked so far. I've got everything packed away inside the tent, and I'm halfway through breakfast. I've literally just got to kind of wait till it gets a bit lighter, so I want to get some shots of the tent and whatnot, take the tent down, and I'm out of here. I've just heard what sounded like a couple of blokes walking past. They sounded really close, like they were off the footpath and in the woods, but I think it's just where it's so quiet and empty here. Sound travels quite a long way. I should nickname him Big Mouth, because you could probably hear him coming a mile off. He'd be a rubbish burglar. I think they were on the footpath, but they sounded so close. Literally I thought, ah shit, I'm going to get rumbled here, but I think they were on the footpath and he was just talking extremely loud. So anyway, cheers Big Mouth. Sound like a right posh toff as well, so my favourite kind of people in the world. I used the gas stove this morning. It was just quicker and easier to boil, and I'd used up all my other fuels. Plain protein porridge again, but I've got fruit toppers in it, so yogurt coated raisins, dried apricots, mangoes, pecan nuts, that sort of stuff. And then that, it looks like piss but it's not. That's tropical flavoured isotonic drink from a ration pack, and that's going to be my water to get me back to the train station at Guildford. That should be more than enough. I slept really well. I was comfy. The mat did go down quite a lot actually, not more than normal, so whenever I laid on my sides my arm went dead really easily, so in the end I just found laying on my back was better. Definitely I think we have to start thinking about getting this tent taken down, but we've not got far to go back to Guildford, which is good. All in all, it's been really good fun. I've enjoyed this. It's been a really good part one of the North Downs Way, and it's got me excited for the rest of it. This project seems less daunting. The Kent coastline is such a huge project that I've decided to take on this year. Just figuring out the logistics of how to get there and back and stuff with each section is going to be quite a challenge, whereas this seems more straightforward, doing this North Downs Way. So, but it's still a challenge, and I'm really looking forward to it. This is our woodland outside now, and it's probably about 8 AM now. Here's the tent. I was sort of tucked right down sort of behind this like holly tree, and then sort of like these fallen trees behind me, and the footpath is, see where that big sort of tree thing is here that I'm pointing at? The footpath is way the other side of that, so I don't even think I can see the footpath from here, so I reckon I'm out of sight from it. I've just seen this other footpath. I don't think it's a footpath anywhere, if it's a game trail. It's probably a game trail. You can see there's a clear sort of path through here. Now, I don't know if that's where I heard those two blokes, but that's not the North Downs Way. The North Downs Way is over there. In fact, I can see that now. But yeah, and then there's the tent. So I think I was pretty well secluded. I think the only way you'd find me is if you was actually looking for me. If you was just wandering past, cycling, jogging, walking past as normal, not looking for wild campers, you would never see that. So I'm quite pleased with that. I think that's alright. Right, I'm going to keep out of sight now anyway. I mean, probably people don't give a shit anyway, but I'm not saying where I am, okay, but I'm not far from Guildford. So far so good. You know, I've got all the stuff against the tree there. Right, I'm not going to do any fancy tent takedown things. You've seen all that before. And it's very gloomy in here, so the camera footage tends to come out quite grainy, and it really struggles to focus. I was getting some shots of the tent and it was a nightmare, so yeah, I'm not going to bother with that anyway. I'll see you in a bit. All packed away, leaving no trace. Kicked all the leaves back, you wouldn't know I've been here. I just got absolutely covered in bird shit. My rucksack hip belt got covered in it and stuff. Put the rucksack down over there just to sort of square the tent away, and obviously it must have just been a hot spot for shit, and it was just tons of bird shit everywhere. So I've had to clean loads of stuff. I'm still covered in it, and it's just wash my hands and that, but I thought I better not put my hands near my mouth because I'll end up with fucking avian flu or some shit. I do love nature, but I don't like its shits. And I don't know what that bird had, like probably about 10 curries. It was awful. It was like yellow and brown, and and it just absolutely stank. So I'm still getting it off my hands now, but first world problems, Tom. Anyway, right, I've got to use the back of my hand to avoid catching, I don't know, bird flu or something. Anyway, right, I'm going to show you how far I am from the path. So let's find a way out. Push through all this holly. It's coming up to about 9:15 now. So we need to get a shift on. Good little spot that. I was quite pleased. It was well out of sight. I mean, this big holly bush here was in the way. All of these trees. Okay, this looks like the footpath here, I think. It's like a channel that's almost been cut into the ground. Yeah, this has got to be it. There. So the sun's not long been up. I think sunrise was at about 8 AM. Yeah. So this isn't too bad. I said 8:30 at the latest I wanted to be out by, and 15 minutes late. but I'm going to blame the birds and their shit on that anyway. This video is definitely not made for kids. I apologise the amount of swearing I've done in it, but that's just the way I am. It's the way I express myself. We all need a little swear every now and then. I haven't done the catchphrase yet. Enough talking, let's get walking. See you in a bit. Am I reading this right? Free-range children and animals. Now, this is something I want to draw your attention to. It's one of the things I love about this country. If someone's lost a scarf or mittens in this case, or a hat, anything, any lost item on a footpath, someone always picks it up and hangs it on a footpath post or on a tree next to the footpath, and for people to find. And it's just such an English custom. I don't know if other countries do it on their footpaths, but I just think it's really nice. So anyway, yeah, if you've lost some mitts like that on the North Downs Way near Guildford, there you go. I just think it's such a nice gesture that people do. It's a very thoughtful thing to do, and you just see it done all the time. It just seems like a very English thing to do. We're back in Guildford, back on the road, and before we head back to the train station, we're going to go and have a look at the remains of a chapel. Should be interesting. Could be the historical highlight of the video, so I'm looking forward to this. I've seen photos of it online and it looks pretty good. St Catherine's Chapel was built in the early 14th century as a chapel of ease for local people who needed a more convenient place to worship than their parish church in Guildford. It fell out of use in the 16th century and is now a ruin, but panels beside the chapel show a reconstruction of how it may have looked in its prime. The area is now known as St Catherine's Village. How nice is this? We're leaving the North Downs Way now, to follow the way south path, which is that way back to the train station.
Godalming navigation is in effect an extension of the River Wey navigation. In 1653 the Wey was one of the first rivers in England to be made accessible to barges as far as Guildford, and the opening of the Godalming navigation in 1764 allowed chalk from nearby quarries and other heavy goods to be taken to London. From 1816 it was possible to continue to the south coast at Littlehampton, following the opening of the Wey and Arran Junction Canal, which linked to the Arran navigation, but that fell into disuse and final abandonment in 1871. The Wey and Arran Canal Trust aims to restore this link, but that will take many years. In 1964, the River Wey and Godalming navigations were donated to the National Trust.
This is lovely. Guildford, you have not disappointed. Unbelievable. So I'm following the Wey path, Wey South path, something like that, and we're just going to basically follow the river all the way into the train station at Guildford. It's lovely. I can see Guildford Castle as well. They've got a castle and a cathedral. Guildford actually has got quite a lot of cool history. There's been a lot of damage to the bridges and stuff on the River Wey here, and I had to turn around and come back because one of them had completely collapsed into the river. I think the river's winning, so we're going to have to road walk it, hopefully get back to the station, which is that way I think. And here we are, back at the car. Hey! Well, I'm back at the car at, I think, what is the Park and Ride car park here on the outskirts of Guildford. And that's the end of this video. That's the end of part 1 of the North Downs Way. It's been really good fun. I've really enjoyed that, and it was challenging in places, but I feel like it's doable. That's probably one of the shortest sections. I think the shortest section in the book is about 8 miles and the longest is about 16 possibly. So that's not too bad really. I can spread that out over 2 days. I know that with what I was carrying, which was probably slightly too much, I could go a bit lighter and it'd still be, you know, a fairly, you know, comfortable camp. If I went a bit lighter, I know that I could confidently do that kind of mileage. I mean, I managed probably about 9 miles yesterday, and I started a lot later than I wanted to as well. So I reckon I could probably easily crack sort of 10 miles out or more. So yeah, I'm happy with that anyway. So next part will be Guildford to West Humble. So thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other. I'll see you again soon, everyone. Cheers. Bye.